Good morning, everybody. Back for another video time there. Just want to start off by saying to YouTube folks that are watching this, these videos are done for the do-it-yourself molds.com, DIYmolds.com. And that's why if you hear me mentioning people's names or talking like with familiarity, it's for that group. So you're not scratching your head wondering what I'm talking about. It's a group that's all about mold making and leaf casting, etc. So anyway, let's get on with it here. So you can see it's rubber time. Got a few tables on the go here. I don't want to show you all the tables at once. We'll just sort of do one at a time here in the next few days because they're all sort of different stages. So I don't want to overwhelm everybody with a big long 25-minute long video. So we'll just do a quick walk around the table. So starting with these pots, this is about the thinnest I've ever done with pots. Usually I always do most pots that were at least like 3/4 of an inch to an inch. But I'm comfortable enough with my mix now that I think I can get away with going this thin. I wouldn't do any much larger than this with the thinness on there. And you can see I just did it's hard to see. I'll see if I can roll it into the light there. There's a leaf skeleton underneath there. And I've just placed my seam. You want to be sort of as inconspicuous as you can. It's just a cheater theme, like a seam. It's about a 1/3 of the way up, and it's right on the stem of the leaf skeleton to try and hide it a little bit. So all I wanted was just a little bit, because of the taper in the pot, you can see there, I just wanted a little bit of leeway to get that thing off because of the thinness. And if it's a little green and you're pulling off the mold, the rubber, I didn't want to have the chance to crush it and snap it. So this one's got a little one too, just because of the shape right there. Same thing, running up the center spine of a leaf skeleton on there. We can get into that next year. I've been doing a little bit of play with these leaf skeletons. These ones are just good old straight up and down sides, so easy. They don't need anything extra. Just show you inside. These are a few little Buddhas here. And this one over here as well. This is another Chinese figure. I think it represents compassion with the child there. And a little bunny. And he's got, just for seams, not much. Just a little, let's see if I can get the camera, just under his ear there, you'll see a little tiny seam. Same on the other side. Just a little cheater seam to get that to pop open when you're pulling that off. Other than that, it's all a straight glove mold. Like all of these ones are all straight glove molds, right? Except for the ones with the seams, of course, right? Here's a raven skull. That's pretty sweet. And then you remember her. This was the rework I had of an older model I did in plaster, and she's a good seller. Came out really nice. And this is a plaque style of Bacchus. He's pretty cool as well. So what I wanted to say is most of these are on coat 5. Remember I told you I put these little pieces that tape down when I do. You can see it all across on the other tables there. It's because sometimes, you know, you could do 1 coat a day, you can do 2 coats a day. I've even done 3 coats a day, but some of them are different stages. And if I don't mark, what I found is when you're doing this many, if you don't make little marks after you do a coat, you can get mixed up and confused, and then you're scratching your head going, oh, did I give that 10 coats, or is that only 8 coats, or is it? So it's best just to keep track, like little pieces of tape with the numbers on. So anyway, when it comes to number 5 coat is when I personally, some people I think do it already at 3 and 4, which is cool. Do whatever you want. I wouldn't start much earlier than 3 or 4. It's time to start looking at undercuts. So we've gone over this before, but it's the microfiber, right? We've talked about this before, not to be confused with the glass fibers. So it's just a pillow, the pillow stuffing, right? And trust me, 1 pillow will go a long way. It can last you a long time. I think I've got 4 other ones put away. They'll probably last me a lifetime. But that's what I use to fill my undercuts with. So what I could do is I'll walk around the table and I'll just show you undercuts that I'd probably put myself, personally, what I'd put a few pieces for undercuts here. So like on this little one here, I'd probably go into here, this little space here, and a little bit over his hands and under his chin. just so, like, some people wouldn't even make a mother mold for this. They just leave it like that and hang it in a cup or suspend it over something. But I like to just, it's easier for me. I got the fiberglass out just to bang a quick little mold for it. This one I wouldn't do much anything with. This big guy, he's got some pretty deep points just under in here. You can see I'd probably fill that up. Maybe a little bit underneath his cape here. Other than that, he's pretty good to go. This one doesn't need anything. It's good. There's no really bad undercut. Maybe a little bit underneath, just this. If I tilt the camera down, you can see just to see the, maybe a little bit underneath there, running around the bottom. The bunny, under the ears, under the tail. What you're trying to avoid, of course, is when you're making a fiberglass or a plaster, or what, you don't want your plaster or your fiberglass mother mold catching underneath there and not being able to release. Then you got big problems. So any deep pockets, undercuts, we like to fill, like in here. These cavities under the ears, that'll get filled, right? The raven skull, I do a little fill in the nostrils and in the eye sockets. About a third. I wouldn't fill the whole thing up, but about a third I'd fill up. And that's going to take a few coats, right, to get that in there and to dry. Same as underneath his eye sockets there. It's pretty deep. You can see I'd get some fill underneath there as well. Okay. And with her, she's covered with them, but I don't want to go too crazy. She's a bit delicate to unmold. You can see she's got a lot of real tender places, like especially these little pieces of hair, and there's one on the back side too. Her hair comes out. It's hard to point it. There we go. She's got a lot of delicate features on her, so I don't want to get too carried away with too much underfill. It had, what this had was a plastic mold for it for pouring, but it was so thin it was useless. It used to drive me crazy. So this one will probably be a real multi-piece fiberglass sectional sort of mother mold for this one here, so I can pour her easy. She was always a really hard one to pour because of that flimsy mother mold on it, you know, or plaster, whatever you're using. But like I said, I wouldn't get too carried away in here because you got to do a lot of pulling, and there's a lot of breakable pieces, so you have to keep that all in mind when you're doing these pieces, right? And the Bacchus here, he's pretty much a straight up plaque type mold, except for he's got all these edges here. Like if you look straight down, oops, I'm standing right in the light. If you look straight down, those are all undercuts. Can you see how they go underneath? Can you see how it's angled down? So you want to get that filled so it's straight. So when you do, you can do a one piece plunk right on top of there, and it's not going to get hung up. But I think it's not going to be a one piece because I've got these curled horns to worry about. So it's going to be probably a little bit different. It's not going to be a straight up one piece glass mold. We'll see when it gets time to it. I try not to dream too much ahead of time on the mother molds, or they can drive you cuckoo. So, but on the other hand too, you do have to consider all that stuff too. I do too. Sometimes when you buy a mold or you find a mold, or you're doing and making your own mold, is you know, you think, gee, how many pieces am I going to have to do on this? And the amount of work for the size of the piece, is it going to be worth it or not? And sometimes you take that into consideration. So anyway, that's about it for this little vid here. Any questions, you know, you can answer or ask me the questions right on YouTube there, or there's lots of places that you could get a hold of me. You can see underneath in the description, there's my Facebook and Instagram, and the Facebook is for our store, so you can just ask direct questions there, and I'll when I get time, I'll answer. Or of course on DIYmolds.com. Okay, gang. In the next few days, we'll try and get over to these other tables here, and I'll do another vid. Okay, everybody, hang in there. Bye-bye.